Hey guys, it's Nikolai Pavlov here with some Power BI tips and tricks. Today we'll continue talking about time intelligence functions in DAX. Time intelligence is a group of functions that calculate changes over time, right? Since time is a dimension that exists in almost any report, it's important to learn and have a good understanding of time intelligence functions. Last time we looked at a few basic time intelligence functions. And in this video, we'll learn how to calculate a difference between this year and last year using the combination of the calculate and same period last year functions. All right, let's jump into Power BI and get started. Here I have the Contoso supermarket dataset, which is available for free on Microsoft website. I'll put a link in the description so you can download and tag along with me. First of all, it's important to build a proper dates table instead of relying on existing calendar table. It is also a good practice to turn off the auto date and time options, which is Power BI's automatic attempt to work with dates. To turn off the dates, you simply go to the file and then click options and settings, click options, and then go down to data load and then uncheck this auto date and time. I already have it disabled. If you don't, I suggest you do that, and then you click OK. Feel free to check out one of my previous videos on how to create a calendar table. So to kick things off, let's start with creating the total sales measure. Here I already created a separate table for measures, which is also a good practice to keep all your measures separately in one table. So we are going to create a total sales measure. Total sales, and it's going to be simply a sum of sales amount in the sales table, right? All right, we will drop that in the table, make it bigger, all right, it's a little bit better, and format it properly. Okay, good. Then using the same period last year function, which we learned in last video, right? Let's find out the previous year sales. I can actually now delete this empty column because I have one measure here. I already have one measure here, and then I can simply close the fields pane and then open it back. And then now I have this nice calculator icon before the measures. And I can easily identify that this is the measures folder. Okay, so I'm going to create another measure for total sales last year. So I'm going to do sales last year. And it's going to be calculate total sales, the measure I already created, right? And then filter will be, I said same period last year, and show the dates table. All right. Let's format it, by the way. Okay, now we can drop this sales last year measure into the table as well. So now we have two measures. We can subtract one from another and find out the difference. Write down difference, and difference will be total sales, be minus sales last year. Okay, do that. Let's format it right away. Okay, so let's actually throw in some dates. I got year, and let's do month name. And we're actually going to month name will be the most left column and the year right after that. Okay. Now what I don't like here is that since we don't have any 2010 data, last year's sales for 2011 are empty, and the difference column does not make any sense because it simply just repeats the 2011 information, right? To fix this, I suggest we use the good old if logical function, which many of you probably know from Excel. So I will modify the difference function with a little bit, as I said, if function. Okay, so the function is if is blank, and then I'll show last year's sales, then return me blank, and if not, you please return the difference, the subtraction. All right, so essentially what this function says is this. So if you find that the sales last year column is blank, right, then in this case just return blank. And if it's not blank, if there are some numbers in the last year sales column, then use the function, then use subtraction of total sales minus last year's sales. And when we do that, we simply get rid of any numbers in the sales and the difference columns for 2011 because we don't really use them, right? It just looks better, in my opinion. Now we can see the details and find out that there is a negative trend actually, right? The sales have gone down since 2011. So the Contoso management got to do something about it. Another calculation we could do is to find out the percentage difference. To do that, we're going to simply divide the sales difference between this year and last year by the total sales amount. Simple percentage calculation. So let's create a measure. Let's name it percent difference. Again, we're going to use the same logic here, the same if logic, to see the blanks instead of 2000 in the 2011 column, right? It's easier to start with the second half. Total sales minus last year's sales. This is going to be my second part of the measure. And then again here, if is blank, column is last year. So if this is blank, return blank. And if it's not blank, return me these guys. No, actually return me, divide that. What am I doing? You got to divide that, right? So you do divide, another function here, divide total sales minus sales last year in the numerator, and then all of that divided by total sales, right? So again, what the function says is, if here is blank, if last year sales column is blank, then return blank, and if it's not blank, then divide. Do this division. Total sales divided by last year's sales and divided by total sales, so percentage, right? Let's see what we have. All right, let's format it percent and 1 decimal. We can see that there's a negative trend everywhere, right? 2011 was a pretty good year, and then 2012 12 was a really bad year because we have minus 31%, minus 32%. So to make this a little bit more visible, right, let's apply some conditional formatting to the percentage difference column, right? To do that, you go to the format pane, then you find conditional formatting. Conditional formatting for percent difference. I just want to do simple background color. And advanced controls, if you go in there, there's a you're going to format it by a rule, and I'm going to say is everything that is equal to 0% equal to greater than 0 or less than 0, it's going to be red. Right? And I can clearly see that almost every month except October and May, June 2013 had more sales this year than last year. Something that the management of the Contosa supermarket should look into. For us, however, we'll learn how to create last year's sales using the calculate function in same period last year. And then after creating two measures, we calculated the difference. And in the difference function, we used two new functions, which is if, the logical function, and ISBLANK. And then we also created the percentage difference by also using if the logic, ISBLANK, and dividing the two measures to find out percent difference. Hopefully you liked this video and learned something new. I would really appreciate if you give me a like, and if you feel like you're benefiting from my videos, then consider subscribing.